Most dentists, if you think about, I'm going to call it the 80-20 rule. I don't know if it's actually that, but let's just say there's 20% of your patients are engineers, and you speak engineer because you're a dentist. Well, you're going to have about 1 out of 5 of your patients who you communicate great with, and you think, wow, I love dentistry. And then you're going to have the other 80% who you go, oh my gosh, I don't feel it. We keep educating, we keep teaching, we keep giving them all the information that they truly don't even want. What they really want is to have somebody that they know and like to be their dentist, and they're going to trust you to do the right dentistry.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Bruce B. Baird, and you're listening to the Productive Dentist Podcast. In this podcast, I will give you everything that I've learned over the last 40 years in dentistry, working with thousands of dentists. I'll tell you, it's not that my way is the only way. It's just one that has worked extremely well for me, and I'd love to share that with you so you too can enjoy the choices and lifestyle that productivity allows. More time for things you love, increased pay, better team relationships, and lowered stress. Let's get into it with this week's episode of the Productive Dentist Podcast.
Hi, this is Dr. Bruce Baird with the Productive Dentist Podcast, and today I've been hearing a lot of things, and I've talked to you guys about it in the past. But are you ready to sell your practice? Is that the case? I mean, I see doctors in their 30s, mid 30s, selling their practice. And I see doctors, obviously, my age selling their practice. But why are you wanting to sell the practice? I think that's something that you really need to take into account before to make the sale. Is your practice value where you want it? Are you unhappy with dentistry? Is there something about dentistry that's making you unhappy? And I'm probably going to do a series on this over the next few podcasts, because there are different reasons that people sell. And the first thing that I'm going to look at is, what if you're unhappy in dentistry? Now, if that's a physical problem, I certainly understand that you're going to be ready to sell your practice or find an opportunity to bring other dentists into your practice. I've got a good friend who had a physical problem, and he's done very well from the business aspect. So if it's a physical ailment or something going on there, then you should consider the opportunity that you have with your practice of potentially bringing in a couple of associates, potential partner, along those lines. Now, in order to do that, most dentists are going to need help at some point. And what I like to look at is the thought process of getting your business set up like a real true business. And that's one of the things that Productive Dentist Academy has been doing for 18 years. So, if that's your realm, and we worked with several docs who have had some physical ailments that had precluded them from continuing to practice. So, and then we've helped grow their business, and they continue to reap the benefits financially of having that practice in play. The other option is where a dentist just is unhappy being a dentist. And that I can kind of split that out into two different directions. One is they finally realized when they got out of dental school that they don't like doing dentistry. Now, there are a lot of dentists out there that just go associate. I've had multiple associates who I felt like, probably just didn't enjoy the dental part of it, didn't enjoy dentistry. There are other doctors who have come through Productive Dentist Academy who have had, they don't really like the clinical part, but they love the business part. And so they go off on setting up a practice with other dentists, working with them. That's where the small and mid-sized DSOs come in play, where somebody has 2 or 3 practices, and that becomes their new mission. And and those are kind of differentiated. I mean, on the one side you have the dentist who doesn't like dentistry, you have the other that physically can't do the dentistry, and then you have the dentist who really loves dentistry, who really and is an excellent clinical dentist, but just doesn't have the business skills or the personal skills to be able to grow that business into what I call a legacy practice. A legacy practice is one like I've built here in Granbury, Texas, which everybody in town knows me, and everybody in town knows that I'm a dentist and that I've had a dental practice, and that it's a high quality dental practice, and that people come from all over to come to that practice. And for me, as I stepped away from the clinical realm of dentistry 2 years ago, the practice has continued to thrive. And from a financial standpoint, it's continued to grow. So that really is something that I'm seeing with dentists that are struggling. They don't really know what to do. And they're not, they've been to Coyce, they've been to Spear, they've been to Pankey, they've been to, you name it, they've been there. But and they have all the clinical skills. I call that, they're at the dance, but they don't have anybody to dance with. And if I think about that, that to me is the saddest story, because that's something that can be fixed so easily. And it's something that I've been working with dentists for the last really almost 30 years in helping them gain better communication skills. Many of you have heard me talk about the engineer and the non-engineer. And this is a perfect time to insert that into this story, because most dentists, we're engineers. We like everything has to be step by step by step by step. And that dentist does a beautiful job clinically, because everything has to be done in a sequence. And the problem is that about 80% of their patients are really not engineers. They're just people who, if you give them a reason to like you, and you ask the right questions, then that builds that trust and that relationship where they'll do the dentistry that you recommend, as opposed to not being able to communicate. Now, most dentists, if you think about, I'm going to call it the 80-20 rule. I don't know if it's actually that, but let's just say there's 20% of your patients are engineers, and you speak engineer because you're a dentist. Well, you're going to have about 1 out of 5 of your patients who you communicate great with, and you think, wow, I love dentistry. And then you're going to have the other 80% who you go, oh my gosh, I don't feel it. We keep educating, we keep teaching, we keep giving them all the information that they truly don't even want. What they really want is to have somebody that they know and like to be their dentist, and they're going to trust you to do the right dentistry. But we can't do that because we're an engineer. So we have to teach you every step of what we're doing and explain. And that's when you see that patient glassed over and they don't even, verbal vomit, whatever you want to call it. We just keep talking. That to me is the most frustrating. And so on the one hand, if I could teach an engineer to be a non-engineer, to ask questions, to find out personal things about a patient, find out, where they live, and, all the things that I've talked about in the past through the Productive Dentist podcast. If I can do that, then do I really want to sell my practice? Because what you're going to find is if you're a dentist who loves dentistry but is struggling in their business, that's when you need to find a coach. That's when you can solve a lot of your problems by finding the right coach and the right team to coach you. Because I promise you, you're right on the cusp of having an absolutely incredible business that you're absolutely going to love. I know this is true. When I opened up Granbury Dental Center, it was a flip-flop. It was, I tend to be more like a non-engineer when I'm talking to patients. But I had a nuclear power plant that was being built here with 16,000 employees, and 80% of my patients were engineers. And I just wanted to I wanted to pull my hair out. And I literally had to learn to speak engineer in order for me to build a successful business. And you know what? I read every book. I did everything I could. I had coaches. I had everything. And I finally feel like I know an engineer needs to have all the information. They need to have a checklist before they can move forward. But what I want you to know is that 80% of your patients really don't need that. And so that's another area where Productive Dentist Academy really has, well, we've dedicated 18 years to teaching the non-engineer to speak, the engineer to speak non-engineer. I mean, we really have worked hard at that. And today, Productive Dentist Academy has changed our focus a little bit. We're always going to continue to teach communication skills. But what we're doing now is, and we've always taught, let me help you increase your productivity per hour. And that's what many of you have seen us talking about over and over and over again. And we know how to do that. And that's fairly easy. Now we've turned our focus into not just increasing your productivity, but increasing the practice value, meaning your EBITDA. So, many people, and we have doctors coming to us, probably 15 offers a month come to Productive Dentist Academy, meaning the dentist has gotten an offer from a DSO or gotten an offer that somebody wants to buy their practice. And most of the time, a DSO is going to come in, look at all of your information, and we willingly give them everything. And we say, here's my tax returns, here's all of our books, here's everything. And they tell you what your EBITDA is. And then they make an offer. We're going to give you a 5x multiple of your EBITDA, which that's great, if the EBITDA is correct. And that's something I'm going to talk about in the next podcast that we do in part 2 of this, because you really need to be ready. The other thing is, what age are you? Are you ready to get out of dentistry? Are you selling because it's retirement time? You've done well financially and you want to reap the benefits of that? Great. Are you worried you're going to miss out on the DSO firestorm that's happening? You're not going to miss out. Or are you just tired and you're done? Well, I can't help people who are tired and they're done. But what I can do is I can help people who are looking to maximize the value of their investment that they've made. Sometimes that's 10 years, sometimes that's 40 years. And there's nothing sadder. And we see these, on a regular basis, but somebody has worked their entire career and they've put away very little money and they find out that their practice is worth $400,000 or $500,000, and that's not enough to take care of their retirement needs. And so they end up working longer and they work longer and they just keep adding year after year without really any intention. They just don't know what to do. They're thinking, well, I really would like to make this, be able to retire. But that's why 95% of dentists out there don't even retire at their pre-retirement income. They have trouble living at the same level that they lived at while they were practicing dentistry. And, that's something that is, it's really tragic. And the other part that's very sad is it's easily fixable. And when I say easily fixable, nothing happens without effort. Okay. But with the right amount of effort, with the right thought process, with the right coaching, with the right team, you can concentrate on doing your dentistry and your value is going to continue to increase year over year over year. So, the next part of this, I'm going to talk specifically about EBITDA and how we grow EBITDA and how that works. And whether you're ready to sell or not sell, please reach out to us and we can give you some ideas to increase the value of your business. Because that ultimately, when the time runs out in your career, and it does run out, it just kind of happens quickly, you want to be poised and positioned to reap the benefits, maximum value for your business, maximum value for your team members that you're going to be leaving behind. All of these things are critically important. So again, thank you guys for voting us the number 3 podcast out of the 69 dental podcasts that are out there. Please tell your friends about the Productive Dentist podcast, and I look forward to next time.
Reagan Robertson here with Productive Dentist Academy. Get ready to join your favorite podcast hosts, Dr. Bruce B. Baird, Victoria Peterson, Dr. Chad Johnson, and myself, Reagan Robertson, at the nation's #1 dental business course that guarantees practice growth. That's right, full immersion CE, so you can consistently produce more and align your team for results without compromising excellent patient care. Productive Dentist Academy has a special running this month that you can activate immediately. It's called the Pda Productivity Bundle. And we put this together so that you could attend this workshop, which is happening September 22nd to the 24th in Frisco, Texas at the Hyatt Regency, along with tools to make sure that not only are you getting great education on how to increase your productivity, how to communicate better with your team and your patients, increase your case acceptance, authentic market practice, and more, you also get a 2-hour business advisory session before the workshop to really get clear on what matters to you most so that you can be set up for success at the workshop. And following the workshop, you get 12 months access to PDA On Demand. That is the entire productivity workshop on demand for you to make sure that you are doing everything you can in your power to soak up all of that CE and implement it come Monday morning, the next month, and the next month, and the next month for 12 months down the line. Registration is now open. The tuition cost is $2,195, which is ridiculous because it's regularly $5,528 for the productivity workshop attendance, 2-hour business advisory session, and 12 months access to PDA On Demand. Hop on over right now to www.productivedentist.com/workshop to grab your registration today. Again, that is www.productivedentist.com/workshop. If you cannot wait and you have to have it right now, email Brent, BRENT, at productivedentist.com. That's Brent, BRENT, at productivedentist.com, and we will save you a seat. I look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Productive Dentist Podcast. If you found this episode helpful, make sure you subscribe. Pass it along to a friend. Give us a like on iTunes and Spotify, or drop me an email at podcast@productivedentist.com. Don't forget to check out other podcasts from the Productive Dentist Academy at productivedentistpodcast.com. Join me again next week for another episode of the Productive Dentist Podcast.